Hi everyone, I'm Skylar and I'm a technical account manager lead for the US at Talon.One, and today we're going to be going through a short training video of how to integrate Talon.One. We're going to start off by looking at the integration landscape page and then going through different entities of Talon.One as well as attributes, the integration API, and then we're going into the campaign manager to build a campaign and send our first request through Postman. So we're going to start by reviewing the integration landscape graph in our developer docs. And whenever an end user interacts with your website in any way that could utilize a promotion, like maybe adding items to a cart, you can send a request from your backend through the integration API to your Talon.One deployment. These requests could contain any related session and cart information, otherwise known as attributes, that is needed to trigger promotions. We parse this information against all running promotions or campaigns and respond back with the effects that are triggered in these promotions. This could include effects like discount session total or add loyalty points. And then on your end, you will have to parse through the response and loop over any effects and display this information to your customers. It is quite important in the beginning to have an understanding of the different entities in Talon.One. In each deployment, you will have one or multiple applications, and an application is defined by an API key, time zone, and currency. And it's up to you how you'd want to structure your applications, but in general, we recommend having one live application and one sandbox application. Within these applications, you have campaigns, which can be freely copied between applications. We also have a new feature called campaign templates, and templates can be created based on campaigns and are independent of applications. These campaigns are structured with rules and they follow simple logic. So when a certain set of criteria is met, we return to the customer some sort of benefit. Additionally, there are cart item filters, which allow you to loop over the customer's cart and filter for different bundles or specific products based on some attribute. Campaigns can also have coupon codes and referrals, and these are always tied to one campaign and are unique within the entire application. The main sort of channel to talk to Talon.One is a customer session, and when a customer interacts with your site, you'll typically send an open customer session request, and as the customer interacts, you'll continue to send these requests. When the customer is finally checking out, you'll send through a closed session. We also have customer profiles, which hold any data points about customers that are needed to run your promotions. And we also have additional options here that are events, giveaways, and loyalty programs, which you might utilize depending on your use case. Attributes are a very powerful feature of Talon.One, and every entity can be enriched by attributes, whether it's a cart item, session, customer profile, or campaign, and etc. These attributes can be utilized to map your data points into Talon.One. And any data that you want to build promotions based on should be sent to Talon.One. It's really better to have more attributes than not enough attributes. Coming down into our integration API documentation, the integration API is really the most utilized API in Talon.One, and it's used to feed customer information to the Talon.One rule engine. The most important endpoint in the integration API, and I'm just going to come over here into the API reference, is our customer session endpoint. Our documentation shows the different information needed to send a request to these endpoints, as well as the response payload examples. If a customer comes to your site, you're typically using our SDK to send a put request against your Talon.One instance with a session ID, and I can come down here to these parameters so we can see the customer session ID. We recommend using an ID that you already have on your end, whatever is easy for comparing your internal IDs with what is sent to Talon.One. This is really up to you for what you'd like to use. Opening up this body schema here, we can see that you can also include a profile ID of the user. If you don't know the profile ID yet, we recommend using a guest profile ID. There's also a session state, which is important to note. The session states typically start as open, and then when a customer checks out, you close a session. You absolutely can just send a closed request to Talon.One too if you don't have an open and closed session workflow. And if a customer has something go wrong with their order and you need to cancel it, When you send through a canceled state, we'll roll back any effects that were applied to the session. We also have a section for cart items, which can include things like the SKU and quantity and price of an item, and also a section down here for additional costs, which can be set up for things like shipping fees, and then you have the option to discount these if needed. A little bit further down here, we do also have the response content array, which is used to shape the way we send back responses. So if you want customers' loyalty information or all of the profile data points for the customer, you can choose to include this in the response content block. Hopping over into the campaign manager, I'm going to create my first application, and we can give this some sort of a name like demo app. You can enter in a description here, select the currency, and code case sensitivity. So this block is important to note that this is how we will create and store your coupon codes. You have 3 different options here, but we typically recommend creating the codes in uppercase and having the codes be case insensitive. So it doesn't matter the way that they're sent to us, but we will still store them as uppercase codes. And then you have the option to select your different application type, live versus sandbox. The main difference here is a UI difference. So you can see, and you can kind of see it here on the left, we have live applications versus sandbox showing in the UI. And then also with sandbox applications, you're always getting rule failure reasons back. Now, after I create my campaign, it reminds me that I need to create an API key. So to do that, you'll go down to Settings, Developer Settings, and you can click Create API Key. And let's just give this some sort of a name, maybe like Skylar Test. You can choose to say if this is for a third-party service. So maybe if you're working with Braze, you would select that here, but in this case, I'm going to hit No. And you can give your API key some sort of expiration date. I'm just going to say the end of the month. If you don't want your key to expire, you can have it set out 5 years from now. It's up to you. As codes are expiring though, the admins will get emails letting them know that it's getting closer and closer to expiration. After we create our key here, I'm just going to copy it and select Done. And now I don't have the option again to get that key. I am just going to hop into Postman though and paste that key in so that I have it to show you a request. And now I'm going to create a campaign. So let's just select Create Campaign, create one from scratch, and maybe we're having a 20% off coupon campaign. So I turned on the coupon feature and hit Create Campaign. And I'm going to go into the rule builder and add a rule to say 20% off with coupon. And as a condition, I'm going to select coupon code as valid. And let's actually make this one step further. So we'll say filter cart items, add a filter step, and we're going to filter items to only discount items when they're equal to pizza. So now we have our pizza list, and I'm going to use this list down here in the effects to discount the individual items, select my pizza list, and change our discount here to 20% off. I'm going to save my campaign. And just to go through this one more time, we have a list that is looking for just pizza with a coupon code as valid condition and setting a discount of 20% off for each pizza in the customer's cart. One additional thing we need to do is create our coupon. So I'm going into that menu, selecting Create Coupon, creating a universal code in this case, but you have the options for different types of coupon codes. And maybe we'll just call this 20 pizza. The code can be used in a limited amount of times, and maybe every customer can use it in a limited amount of times. I'm going to create my code. And the final step to be able to, and I'm just going to copy that. The final step to be able to use this campaign is coming over here into Dashboard and activating our campaign. So now this campaign is running and can be triggered. Coming over into Postman now, I have a customer session here. And I have a session ID that is unique. My state is currently open, and I have a profile ID being sent here. And I have 2 items in this customer's cart. So we have a cheese pizza and a soda. And if I send through this request, we can just see nothing's happening. but I need to add this coupon code here in the coupon code array. And now when I send through this request, I'm getting an accept coupon effect back because the coupon is valid. And I'm also getting a set discount effect, which tells me that I need to give a $4 discount on position 0, sub position 1. And coming back to my cart items, this item is position 0, it's sub position 1. If I came here and maybe the customer is still shopping and increase this to 2 quantity, we can see I'm now getting 2 discount effects back. Finally, this customer is checking out, so I'm going to close the session. And we're getting the same effects back in this case. But if we come over here into the campaign manager and look at this coupon, we can see that this coupon has been marked as used. And we can also come over here into the session list, look at our session, and see this information about the customer's cart, the discounts that were applied, the discount total, and the net total. One final thing is if, say, this customer came through and canceled their session, we can change the state to canceled, send through this request, and now we're seeing a rollback coupon effect as well as a rollback discount effect. Coming back into the UI, if I was to just refresh this page, we can see the state is now canceled. The total discount was set back to 0. These effects were rolled back. And one final thing, coming over here into the coupons, we can see this coupon usage is now back down to 0. So all of the information that we went over in this video today can be found in our developer docs. There's a nice page here about integrating Talon.One that helps you understand the different concepts. We also have a checklist available that helps you with choosing which SDK you'd like to use and understanding the 2 different APIs. One thing to note too is just a reminder to come in here and we can see our API reference for our integration API. We also have our API reference for the management API available. If you do have any questions while you're working through your integration, please don't hesitate to reach out to your dedicated technical account manager or to support@Talon.One.